Williamson, New York, Rootstock Ciders. Let's go.
Thanks so much for coming up today, guys. You ready to taste some good cider?
Yeah, let's go.
Awesome.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Check it out. Hey, Kid, how you doing, man?
Oh, man.
What? This guy.
Glad to have you guys back. I know that we had a little bit of a sample earlier, last time you guys came, and it was all great. So,
all right. Well, hey guys, why don't I show you around inside? And what I was thinking, we'd do a little tour in the back, kind of show you the cidery, the distillery, and then we'd finish up with some cider.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for coming up today, guys. Great to have you up here. Welcome to Rootstock. So where we are right now, this is the cellar. So this is the cidery side of Rootstock Cider and Spirits. Really, what we have behind us is a canning line. We've got some fermenters here, a filter to our right, this kind of Willy Wonka looking thing right over here, and then way in the back here, the numbered tanks that kind of have the smooth edges are the bright tanks. And so yeah, from here, this is where we're bringing in fresh pressed apple juice from the farm and turning it into hard cider. Well, the first thing I wanted to do is try some samples out on you guys. So we do actually have an active fermentation going. We got some juice in last week. So one thing I can show you is cider kind of right in the middle of kind of its turnover. So mid-fermentation. This is cider that started as a blend of Piñata and Ida Red. That's the recipe that goes into making our Rootstock Original. So we just pitched yeast last week and it's just started to kick off. So we're getting a little spritzy CO2 development. This stuff is just addictive. Pass it along, yeah. So what you're tasting in here is you go through, give it a try. Really zesty, almost like orange juice, citrusy smells to it.
Smells like apple juice.
Yep, it's still about mostly apple juice at this stage. Here you go. And what it's doing right now, all that juice is getting converted, so all the sugars in the juice are getting worked on by the yeast, and the yeast is turning it into alcohol. And along with that, the yeast is generating all of these unique flavors. So when you're making hard cider, you work by variety to get varietal flavor, but you're also working in fermentation to kind of get fermentation aromatics too. So this is kind of where you're seeing it right in the middle at the very early stage.
Oh man,
I don't want to take
amazing. Me too. Nice. Yeah. This tastes so good.
We work with different blends for every one of our ciders, and we also change up the way we ferment them, and that changes the way the ciders finish. So we use only fruit that we grow on our farm, and we just really want to work hard to bring out the best of each of those apples. Stepping forward in time, we can actually taste down the line here. And so this is a cider that's a little further downstream. It's been aged for a little bit longer. So this cider has finished its fermentation. It's been through its primary filtration. And so this one is going to be clear. It's going to be bone dry. And it's really crushable. So in the middle of summer, you get this cold. I just love it. It's not too sweet. It's not sweet at all. There's like no residual sugar in it. Every time you're trying a cider, I heard one guy say it really, really well. He's like, not everybody has the chance to come out to England and try this cider and fly all the way out here. But when you buy a bottle of cider or you're opening a glass of cider or having it on pint somewhere, you're actually there for like a little bit. You're experiencing the orchard, you're kind of getting these memories. And that's what we always try and put across, just making those connections with people like that. So like what we have behind us here, these are all second use barrels. These are used whiskey barrels, so like American oak, AKA bourbon. Over here, these are a slightly different type of barrel. These are wine barrels. So no char on them, so that just means that the way these barrels were made was a little bit different. I actually learned a term in the world of barrel making is called water bending, which I totally geeked out about because I loved watching Avatar as a kid. I was like, wait a minute. But the real heavy lifting of turning hard cider or anything with alcohol into a brandy or into a spirit happens up front, in front of the stills.
Let's check it out.
So this is a still. Actually, it's two stills. It's a Vendome copper and brass still that we got. This was the first piece of equipment that we ever got here. We put it in about 2011. Actually had to build the building around this, so it is a 22.5 foot still and it is a 24-foot ceiling. But distillation in a nutshell, when you make a cocktail, you are combining alcohol and you're combining flavors and maybe a little bit of water and ice. When you distill something, you're unmaking the cocktail. You're getting the alcohol back. So We bring in hard cider here. We'll bring in different types of fermented fruit, whether it's plums or cherries or pears. And our job is to draw out the heart's cut, the alcohol and all of the flavor that makes that fruit what it is. And all of that's going to come through in an unaged brandy. Then we can take that and we can continue to work that brandy. So this is a pot still. This is what's going to make a hard cider into a brandy. We can take that brandy and we can age it in a barrel and finish it that way. Or we can continue to distill it, continue to separate out water, and we can continue to separate out even the chemicals that make it have a flavor or a smell until you're left with a 95% alcohol product. It's a neutral spirit at that point. And that's what we would make vodka out of. This is called a spirit safe, so this is kind of like the steering wheel for both of the stills. Here, Colin, our head distiller, is going to be tasting the spirit as it comes off. He's going to be watching the density of it as it comes off. And that's how he knows when we've hit the heart's cut and when we can separate it out. And now, enough talking about it. How about we go try it? Let's go! So what we're tasting first is Rootstock Original. This is where I usually start everybody off. If you are new to our cider, I always try and pour this one first. Great way to gauge what you go for in a cider.
Alright, this doesn't sound crazy. I almost feel like I smell banana.
Yeah, that's a thing. Banana is one of the key notes that we talk about in Rootstock Original. Yep.
Oh man.
Pineapple, banana. That group of chemicals is called esters. So I showed you our original cider. I showed you what a bone dry cider is like, and we're seeing a lot of new interest in dry ciders. What I'm gonna do is show you the difference between cider that's aged and cider that's younger. And these are the same exact blend of apples. It's the same recipe. This is our heritage, but one of them is from 2017 and the other one is from 2020. So we call this a vertical pairing. So this is Heritage. It's a blend of Rhode Island greening and Cortland apples.
This is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this.
It's super vibrant.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So give that a try. You've had the older one. Now give a try to this younger one just to the right of it. And you're gonna notice right off the bat visually there's a difference there. You have the younger one, it's got a little bit more of a gold straw color to it.
There is a difference.
There is. You've got a difference in the aromatics too. And that's coming from a couple different things. First of all, in 2017, there was a lot more rainfall. So the apples swelled. And that means that the sugars and the things that give the apples color diluted a little bit. But in 2020, it was a little bit drier. So the apples were more compact. The sugars and the apple flavors and the tannins were more concentrated. So the color in this vintage is actually a little bit more bright.
And it's not just apples, it's all the other fruits that we can pair with that are all literally tied to the agriculture and the weather that happens that year. You know, you'll get sweeter fruit some years and drier the next. And it also allows you to play with the ABV sometimes to see how far you can take it and how far you can go with it. So definitely pretty fun.
So this is Perry. Perry, the way that we make it here, this is using Bartlett as well as these older varieties of pears that were traditionally grown only for making alcohol, Perry pears in other words. And this is the 2020 vintage. Haven't had a good batch of Perry since I'd say like 2014, so we're really excited that it came out really good this year. It's hit or miss the way we make it, but it is just so tasty.
That is good. Wow. Have you had their Perry before?
Oh, yeah.
That's good. That's really good. I love
There's a very limited amount that I haven't had.
It's like it kicks in later on. You're like, all right.
The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna transition from cider into spirits, and so we're gonna go to the next level up in alcohol. This is pommeau. So we're gonna pour it, let's taste it, see what you guys like, and then we'll talk.
This is fantastic.
It's tasty.
Yeah. Oh my God. That is good. Dude, that is fantastic.
When you buy a cider that you know is craft and local, you're supporting growers, you're supporting cold storage facilities, you're supporting a huge range of industry professionals upstream in the growing aspect in the agricultural world and downstream in the craft beverage world. So if you're buying craft cider anywhere, you're saying yes to all of that and growing this culture and this community And so I think that's got some depth and it's got some take. That's what I'm very optimistic about hard cider for.
We'll get walking because it's a little.
Yeah.
Let's do it. If there's a frost, this really delicate green tissue can freeze solid and it kills the plant. And that means no apples later in the year. So this time of year, we're really conscious of preventing these little delicate leaves from getting mold or a fungus that could cause diseases. So the modern horticulture has come a long way. It's what we're looking at. But I like really old apple trees because I think the roots go really deep. That means they're drawing water, which helps them survive drought conditions. And I think it also helps draw more nutrients from the soil, which works their way into the apples, which works their way into the cider. And a better nutrient profile on the cider means better taste and fermentation.
I never really thought about that. It's like, I thought just apples just grow.
Just let it go. Yeah. No, it's a piece of work, absolutely, that you have to work yourself through.
We'll walk over to the solar panels here.
Yeah.
Every single one of these flowers, if it's set and the tree didn't trigger it to drop, would become a pluot. That's a lot of fruit. That's like 100 pounds of fruit on this tree alone.
Wow.
That's actually so much fruit that this tree will snap under its own weight of fruit. The neat thing about stone fruit that apple trees don't have is they put off spurs, little tiny spears. Check this out. See that? Total stone fruit thing right here and here. Spurs. It's like cowboy boots. Cool, right? Check it out.
Luke, thank you so much for having us, and Caden, thank you for bringing us. Joe, thanks for making this amazing cider, man. What a day.
Well, it's great to have you guys up. Anytime you want to come up and try some cider or spirits, let me know. Well, you're always welcome up here.
I told you time and time again, Williamson's where it's at. Okay, I will never stop telling you this, okay?
You always say this is apple country,
This
right?
is apple country. You're not going to get it's literally ground to glass.
Be sure to follow us at Rootstock Cider and Spirits on Facebook and Instagram, or check out our online stores, Rootstock Cider Works and Rootstock Spirits. Yeah, get out there and try some Rootstock. Cheers.
So the email will be here, or
Somewhere.
but then it'll be up here. And then we'll move it
let's
over
cover
here.
every angle so we get it all.
Star swipe.
And of course, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you see more of this great stuff. Let's do ding, ding, ding.
Yes, that's like that. Smash it.